Shalom, shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. My name is Brother Napak from the Camp Prophets in Babylon, down here in Tampa Bay, Florida. And I want to give all praises. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and blessings to the whole elect and the ones listening in. And to get, into a quick lesson through the Spirit, I'm going to title this lesson, Letting Go of What Was and Walking Into What Is. All right. And this lesson's been on my spirit for a little minute, because ultimately, I believe, brothers, a lot of brothers struggle with this, including myself. All right. And ultimately, this is edifying, all right, to you, Akim. All right. Because just meditating in the spirit, man, we hold on to a lot of things that is not profitable unto us. All right. Like I said, as I'm speaking unto you, Akim, I'm speaking unto myself. All right. And, I was listening to a lesson, all right, from the elder Dama Shapat. All right. And, he was getting into a lesson this like a few weeks back, and it was called Cut Her Loose. All right. And this lesson was specifically talking about, the woman, all right, or dealing with the woman and how to let her go and, how to deal with the fact of letting her go. All right. And he says something that was, very powerful that, stuck with me within my spirit to this day. All right. And mind you, this was like weeks back. I listened to this lesson, but it's keep coming back into my spirit. And what he said was a lot of times Jake, just roughly paraphrasing, Jake hold on to the curse. All right. When the Lord is trying to remove that curse and, give you your blessing, and like I said, this is mainly so, speaking on the woman, but this also goes into, other things as well. I look at it as, when you look at it as a different perspective, this can go into other things as well, man. A lot of Jake hold on to a lot of different things that's hindering your growth, that's hindering you as a, prophet of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, I first want to just go straight, to this scripture right here. This is Philippians. I want to get chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 12. It says, I don't mean to say, in the NLT, it says, I don't mean to say that I have already achieved these things or that I have already reached perfection, but I press on to possess that perfection which Yahweh Shai Mashiach first possessed me. All right. And this Apostle Paul speaking, saying, he's not saying that he already reached that perfection. All right, which, when you're perfected with the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you don't sin. You don't, and that's perfection. All right, being sinless, being perfect. But Apostle Paul is saying, I never, he hasn't even reached that yet. Only men are, only one to ever reach that was the Lord Yahweh Shai on this earth when he came down on this earth. All right, but to continue on, it says, no, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it. All right, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. All right, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead, man. And that's something that we all, must master. All right. A lot of times Jake, be stuck in the past or stuck in, certain things or certain ways or, and once you come to this truth, it's, you have to forget about, certain things or, things that happened in the past and get over it and to step into what is, to step into the present time, what the Lord has you doing now. All right. Give your full, attention to that. All right. Because the battle must go on. The fight must go on. All right. We're in the middle of a war. All right. And to be stuck, in the past or what happened or what was before. All right. To be stuck there, it shows, no growth. It shows, no resilience. All right. And as men of the Lord, we want to have that resilience. We want to be resilient. All right. We want to have growth through these things. All right. In the process of things. All right. And that whole process of letting go of what was and stepping into what is, it's ultimately just trusting in the Lord, man. All right. Putting your trust in the Lord. Like I said, you can be holding on to certain grudges or, certain things that you did, certain sins that you went off, or certain times you went off, and you just holding on to these things, and it's affecting your spirit. All right. And it's cursing your spirit, and it's a curse unto you. All right. And the Lord's trying to remove that curse, but you holding on to it. The Lord's trying to bless you, but you holding on to the curse, man. All right. And that's not something you want to do in this truth, man. All right. Because what lies ahead could be way much greater. All right. And a lot more peaceful, and allow you to grow a lot more than what you're stuck at in the past. All right. And like I said, the elder, he was even speaking about, he was mainly speaking about the woman. All right. And that's another thing, that's a big thing, honestly, is the woman. A lot of brothers be stuck on, certain woman. All right. And you gotta, she going, man. You gotta let it go. You gotta continue on the path, on the journey of truth, on a good fight. Because at the end of the day, bro, we're prophets, man. We're men of the Lord. All right. And we must continue on in truth and sincerity. All right. And we can't let nothing hold us back from serving the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, or hinder our growth in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's why it says, verse 14, I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which Yahweh, through Yahushai Mashiach, is calling us. All right. So you must press on to reach the end of the race, man. These things are only stumbling blocks. When you holding on to the things that you did in the past, or when you went off, or grudges, all these things are stumbling blocks, man. Woman, these things are stumbling blocks into your faith, man. All right. And it can ultimately destroy you in the faith. It can ultimately destroy you in your path. All right. So you have to let go. All right. And forget about the past. All right. And looking forward to, what's before you, what lies ahead, and what lies ahead is, ultimately salvation, man. We all want to be saved. What lies ahead is death and destruction upon this place. And we want to be saved from that death and destruction, man. All right. And that's where you got to, be able to step in. And the Lord put you in different seasons of your life and chapters in your life. And you got to be, present in that season. All right. And not still stuck on last season or last chapter, because that shows no growth. It shows no resilience. Like I said, all right. You don't have the spirit of overcoming on you. All right. But you're being overcame, by ultimately demons, man. All right. Now I want to get this as well. This is James chapter 4 and verse 7. I want to keep that precept though. So I'm going to just, get it here in my other Bible app. James 4 and verse 7. It says, like I said, this is the process of letting go, bro. All right. This is a part of the process. All right. It says, James chapter 4 and verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahweh. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. All right. So letting go is just submitting yourself unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, and what he has in store for you. All right. The will of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you must submit to it. All right. And resist the devil. Because Satan's going to constantly come at you with different things or different ways, all right, to ultimately keep you at the same level or to ultimately get you off track, So the thing about this, is you got to submit to the Lord, bro. All right? Things that are out of your control, things that you can't do anything about, submit it unto the Lord Yahweh. Submit unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right? And resist the devil so he can flee away from you. Flee out of your mind. Flee out of your spirit. All right? Because Satan wants you to sit there and what's the word? Wander in the past. All right. All right. Stuck in, old sins or old mistakes that you made. All right. That's what Satan wants, bro. All right. And Jake be doing that, bro. Like I said, I'm speaking unto you, Aki, I'm speaking unto myself. There's times where, I sit there and I felt, you know, at a very low point. I was put in a very low point for a minute, because I was stuck on, a mistake I made or a point where I went off. And that demon only gets stronger the more you sit in it. The longer you sit in it, the longer you stay in it, the demon only gets stronger. The spirits only grow. All right? Because it's you. All right? It's you, man. And you gotta understand that and take full accountability that it's you, bro. You're the one that's allowing this. All right? And you gotta be able to submit to the Lord, the will of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right? And letting go of what was or what happened or what could have been done different, because at the end of the day, everything that happened was of the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shemi Shai. The Lord deemed it to happen. The Lord ordained it to happen. All right? So having that spirit on you and knowing that, all right, you have to continue on serving the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai and just letting that thing go, man. All right? Letting that curse go. Because it's a curse. All right? It's stopping you from getting your blessing. Stopping you from growing. Stopping you from receiving, all right, the reward. All right? And the longer, like I said, the longer you stay in it, the stronger the demons get. They start to multiply. They start to have a field day within you. And you constantly just sitting back, thinking upon these things and stopping your growth, man. All right? So, and it continues on. It says, draw nigh to Yahweh, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. All right? So you have to draw nigh to the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right? Because when you sit there and you stay stuck in a certain moment or a certain season or a certain point in your life, you sit there, the longer you sit there, like I said, the stronger the demons can get, and the farther you getting, pulled away from the Lord. All right, and you're no longer drawing nigh to the Lord. You're getting pulled from the Lord. All right, because you're stuck. You're leaving yourself stuck in a predicament, in a spot that you're not supposed to be in. All right, and you're not submitting unto the will of the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai. You can't accept what the Lord has ordained. That's ultimately what you're doing. You're not accepting what the Lord has put out, what the Lord has put forth, what the Lord has done. All right? And that's going to be unto your own, all right, your own failure, So that's why Apostle Paul said this, bringing it back. It says, verse 13, let me get straight to it. No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. And certain times, we was in the world and we did certain things, and you may hold on to those things, all right? But once you come to this truth, all right, you have to let it go. All right, once you come to this knowledge, you have to let it go. All right? Because ultimately, you're cleansing your way, you're cleansing your heart. That's what James 4 and verse 8 said. Draw nigh to the Lord, he will draw nigh unto you. Cleanse your hearts, man. Cleanse your mind. Cleanse your mind, bro. Your mind is so fixated on certain things that it says, cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, So purify your mind, man. Your mind is so stuck on these different, things, and so many demons are plaguing it. All right? You can't even think right, bro. All right? You can't even use the wisdom that the Lord has blessed you with. You can't use the knowledge the Lord has blessed you with, because your mind is so, bent out of shape. Because you have demons plaguing it, bro. So you have to look forward to what lies ahead. What's now. In the present. You're in the present. Forget about, what happened in the past. All right? Don't think about on tomorrow or what's going to happen in the future. Now. All right? Now. Live the moment now, man. All right? And ultimately be present for now. So you can, ultimately grow. If your mind is in the past and you're in the present, all right, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities for growth. All right, opportunities for, bettering yourself, because you're still stuck on certain things that the Lord is trying to get you away from. All right, now kind of Salaki Akim, but I kind of want to go into it more. But I got to get back into work, so Lord willing, this much has edified you, Akim and Akwath, the ones listening in. And I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Once again, double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who teaching real well. Peace and blessings to hopeful elect. Shalom, Akim.